You disgrace our family name.
Father, please.
You know this is wrong.
This is my home now.
Heir to a billion-dollar empire, marries a poor girl. The world was shocked when everyone saw what happened next inside the mansion. Imagine this. The heir to a billion-dollar empire comes home after marrying a poor girl. And what happens next shocks everyone. From cold glares to high society drama, this is the story of love, courage, and proving yourself against all odds. Stay tuned, because you won't believe how this story unfolds inside the mansion. If you love dramatic stories with a shocking twist, hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable tales, and don't forget to comment what you would do if you were in Lily's shoes. Ethan pulled up to the grand gates of the Blackwood mansion, the black luxury SUV gliding smoothly across the polished driveway. Beside him, Lily clutched the small bouquet of white roses they had received at the wedding ceremony, her fingers trembling slightly, not from fear, but from the overwhelming sense of stepping into a world so far removed from the cozy streets and modest apartment she had called home just a few days ago. As the doors of the mansion swung open, the warm glow of the chandeliers revealed the tense figures waiting in the foyer. Victoria Blackwood, poised in her designer dress, her perfectly coiffed hair almost shimmering under the lights, narrowed her eyes the moment she saw Lily. Ethan's father, Richard Blackwood, the powerful CEO whose presence seemed to dominate every room he entered, stood tall with a look that was impossible to misinterpret. His brows were furrowed, his jaw tight, and the air around him crackled with barely contained fury. Ethan. Richard's deep, controlled voice cut through the silence, each word deliberate and weighted with authority. What exactly have you done? Ethan stepped out of the car, Lily following behind him. Dad, I married Lily, he said calmly, his voice steady, yet carrying the firmness of someone who had already made up his mind. Richard's eyes widened, his fingers clenching into fists. You married her? Do you even realize what this means? The Blackwood name, our reputation, everything we've built, and you bring home this? His gaze darted to Lily, his lips pressing into a thin line, as he scrutinized her simple attire and humble demeanor. Lily swallowed hard, her heart pounding, but she managed to step forward slightly. Mr. Blackwood, sir, I promise I'll do my best to adjust, and I'll respect your family and your traditions, she said, her voice soft but firm, the hint of nervousness unmistakable. Victoria's voice sliced through the tension, sharp as a blade. Ethan, this is outrageous. How could you make such a decision without consulting us? Do you know how society will react? The tabloids, our friends, everyone will be talking about this. She gestured at Lily, her eyes full of disbelief. Do you understand the kind of life she comes from? Ethan held his ground, looking from his mother to his father and back to Lily. Dad, Mom, it doesn't matter where she comes from. I love her. That's all that matters. She's smart, kind, and the most honest person I've ever met. I can't live my life trying to please society or preserve some image. Lily is my wife, and she belongs here with me. Richard's nostrils flared, his chest rising and falling as he tried to maintain his composure. Belongs here? He repeated, his voice almost a growl. You don't even understand the world she's stepping into. This house, this life, it's not a place for someone like her. Lily felt a wave of self-consciousness, but Ethan gently reached for her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. She can handle it, Dad. I trust her, and you will too. Just give her a chance. Richard's eyes darted between Ethan and Lily, the silence stretching painfully. Finally, with a heavy exhale, he muttered, You're gonna regret this, Ethan. I just hope you know what you've done. And rewind. Victoria crossed her arms, her gaze still sharp and unyielding. Ethan, however, met Lily's eyes and smiled softly. It's just the beginning, he whispered, leading her inside the mansion. As they walked through the enormous halls, Lily felt the weight of the family's scrutiny, but also a flicker of determination. She would not shrink away. She had survived life's struggles before, and she would prove she belonged here too. one step at a time. The grand double doors closed behind them with a soft thud, echoing through the vast marble foyer. The mansion smelled of fresh flowers and polished wood, a stark contrast to the small, cozy apartment Lily had grown up in. Every corner gleamed with perfection. Every painting, every ornament seemed to whisper the wealth and power of the Blackwood family. Lily's heart raced not from fear, but from the realization that she was stepping into a world she had never imagined, a world that now expected her to fit in flawlessly. Richard Blackwood leaned against the staircase railing, arms crossed, his eyes never leaving her. He was a man who commanded rooms, who spoke, and everyone listened. But now his silence weighed heavier than his anger ever could. "Do you even know how to navigate this lifestyle?" he asked finally, his voice low but edged with warning. "High society has rules, Lily, expectations. You can't just walk in with whatever it is you have and think it will be accepted." Lily straightened her posture, gathering courage she hadn't realized she possessed. "Sir, I understand this is different from what I'm used to, but I'm willing to learn. I want to respect your family, and I want to do everything I can to be a good wife to Ethan." Victoria, standing beside her husband with an expression somewhere between exasperation and disbelief, added, "Learn? My dear, it's not just about learning manners or attending parties. This is a world where one wrong step, one misplaced word, and your life can be scrutinized and ridiculed. Do you really think you're ready for that?" Ethan moved closer to Lily, placing a hand lightly on her back, a silent shield against the weight of his parents' judgment. "Mom, Dad, she's more capable than you think. Lily has faced challenges that would have broken most people. She's smart, strong, and she knows how to handle herself. Trust me, she belongs here." Richard's sharp gaze flicked between them, a mixture of frustration and incredulity painted across his face. "Ethan, I don't doubt her intelligence, but this is our world. Society doesn't forgive ignorance easily. You're asking her to step into a battlefield she didn't choose." Lily drew in a steadying breath, her nerves rattling like wind through dry branches. "Sir, I may not have been born into wealth, but I've learned to survive and adapt. I've faced things that taught me resilience, patience, and perseverance. I can learn to navigate this world too. I'm not afraid to try." A moment of silence stretched across the room, broken only by the faint ticking of an ornate clock on the wall. For the first time since she had arrived, Lily felt a glimmer of respect from Richard, though his stern expression didn't soften. Victoria, on the other hand, still looked skeptical, though a faint trace of curiosity crossed her eyes. Ethan smiled at her subtly, giving her hand a gentle squeeze. "See? I told you, she's perfect. Just give her some time." Richard exhaled, straightening his posture. "Time," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. "She'll need a lot of it." As Lily followed Ethan down the expansive corridor to their suite, she couldn't help but glance around the mansion. Each luxurious detail reminded her of the gap between her past and her present, but instead of fear, a flicker of determination lit in her chest. She wasn't just here to survive. She was here to prove that love and character could transcend wealth and status. And if she succeeded, she would not only earn their acceptance, but perhaps even their respect. That night, as the mansion's lights dimmed and the city skyline glittered outside the window, Lily lay in her new bedroom, listening to the distant hum of the household staff finishing their evening tasks. She thought of Ethan, of his unwavering belief in her, and felt a surge of courage. No matter the obstacles, no matter the scorn or scrutiny awaiting her tomorrow, she was ready to face it. And as the first night in the Blackwood mansion came to a close, both Lily and Ethan knew that the real challenge had only just begun. The morning sun poured through the tall windows of the Blackwood mansion, but the golden light did little to ease the tension that lingered in the air. The tranquility of the morning was shattered the moment Ethan's phone buzzed insistently on the bedside table. "Dad," Ethan muttered, glancing at the screen. "It's the press. They already picked up the story." Lily sat up, her hair falling loosely over her shoulders. "The story? About us?" she asked quietly, her voice trembling slightly. Ethan nodded grimly. Yeah, the tabloids and social media are all over it. Billionaire CEO's son marries poor girl. That's the headline. It's everywhere. Lily's stomach sank. She had expected some whispers, maybe even judgment from Richard and Victoria, but the scale of the scrutiny was beyond anything she had imagined. Oh, I didn't mean for this to happen, she whispered. Ethan reached for her hand. Hey, don't blame yourself. We knew there would be attention, but you can handle this. I believe in you. By the time they entered the dining room, Richard and Victoria were already there, each with a cup of coffee in hand, their expressions carefully neutral but tinged with underlying tension. Richard's voice cut the silence sharply. So it's true then. The world knows. And I suppose you're just going to sit there calmly, acting like nothing's wrong? His gaze flicked to Lily. Do you even understand what it means to be part of this family now? The scrutiny, the judgment, the expectations, it's unforgiving. One misstep, and it could destroy everything we've built. Lily swallowed hard, but met his gaze steadily. Sir, I understand. And I want to do my best. I'll learn. I'll adapt. I won't embarrass your family. Victoria sighed, leaning back in her chair, her eyes narrowing. Learning is one thing, Lily, but society has its own way of judging people like you. Your past, your background, it will be scrutinized. Are you ready for that? Before Lily could respond, Ethan interjected. Mom, Dad, enough. She's my wife, and she's strong enough to handle herself. If you'd give her a chance instead of doubting her every move, we might actually survive this without a scandal. Richard's jaw tightened. I hope you're right, Ethan. I really do. Just as the tension seemed to simmer down slightly, a knock at the door announced the arrival of the first wave of reporters. Their cameras clicked, flashes illuminating the opulent walls of the mansion. The staff hurriedly ushered them into the lounge, but Lily felt every stare and every whispered question pierce her like needles. Miss Carter, how does it feel marrying into one of the wealthiest families in the country? One reporter asked, not waiting for permission. Lily's hands trembled, but she squared her shoulders and replied, It's an honor. I love Ethan, and I'm committed to supporting him and his family. That's all that matters to me. A few skeptical murmurs rippled through the room, but her sincerity seemed to give pause. Even Richard, standing off to the side, could not hide the slightest flicker of surprise in his eyes. After the reporters left, Victoria finally spoke, her tone sharp but edged with curiosity. You handled that reasonably well. But don't think for a second this will get any easier. The public doesn't forgive easily, and neither does the press. You'll need to prove yourself consistently every single day. Lily nodded, determination settling in her chest. I understand, Mrs. Blackwood. I won't let anyone down, not Ethan, not this family, not even myself. Ethan pulled her close for a brief, comforting hug. See, you're already impressing them. Just wait once they know who you truly are. No one will doubt you again. As Lily watched her reflection in the polished marble floor, she realized that her journey was only just beginning. The mansion, the fame, the scrutiny, it was all part of a new world she had never dreamed of entering. But for the first time, she wasn't afraid. She was ready to face it head on, proving to everyone, especially the powerful, skeptical CEO standing across the room, that love, courage, and integrity could triumph over wealth and status. And somewhere deep inside, she knew that if she could survive this first day, she could survive anything the Blackwood world threw at her next. The following morning, Lily awoke to the soft hum of the mansion settling into daily life. The sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, reflecting off the polished marble floors and illuminating the intricate decor she still struggled to take in. She dressed carefully, trying to balance elegance with comfort, but each choice of clothing felt like a test she wasn't sure she could pass. In the dining room, Victoria awaited her with an unreadable expression, a plate of freshly baked croissants laid out perfectly in front of her. Lily, she said, her voice calm but carrying an unmistakable edge, We need to discuss how you'll conduct yourself in this household. There are expectations, formal dinners, social gatherings, interactions with guests. Everything you do reflects on this family now. Lily nodded, trying to steady her nerves. I understand, Mrs. Blackwood. I want to learn, and I promise to do my best. It's wrong. Victoria raised an eyebrow. Do you? Because this is not just a lesson in etiquette. You will be observed constantly. Guests, friends, even the staff, they will judge you. One mistake could be costly. Ethan, who had been sipping his coffee silently, leaned over and whispered, Ignore her dramatics. You're going to be fine. Just be yourself. The first real test came that afternoon. Richard had arranged a private business luncheon with several high-profile investors, and the expectation was clear. Lily was to join, sit at the head table, and participate without appearing out of place. As they entered the sunlit dining hall, Lily felt every gaze on her, every whisper and glance magnified by her insecurities. The luxurious setting, the fine china, and the hushed, serious conversations made her feel painfully aware of her humble background. A guest, an elegantly dressed socialite named Claudia, glanced at Lily and asked with a faintly condescending tone, Miss Carter, do you often attend gatherings like these? Lily took a deep breath, steadying herself. No, not usually, but I'm learning, and I'm grateful to be here, she replied, her voice composed despite the rapid beating of her heart. Claudia's lips pursed, as if weighing whether to mock or accept the answer. Richard's sharp glance reminded everyone of the stakes, while Victoria observed silently, scrutinizing Lily's every reaction. The conversation moved to business matters, and for a moment, Lily felt completely out of her depth. But then Ethan subtly included her. Lily actually has a background in community development and project management. She's worked on initiatives that transformed neighborhoods. Her perspective is invaluable. Lily's eyes widened slightly, but she spoke up confidently, sharing her experience with poise and insight. The room fell into an almost respectful silence, the tension easing slightly. Even Claudia appeared momentarily impressed, though she quickly masked it with a polite nod. After the luncheon, Victoria cornered Lily in the kitchen. You did? Okay. But don't let that first success fool you. This house, this family, this society, they will test you every single day. You need to anticipate their moves, learn the unspoken rules, and adapt. That's how you survive here. Lily met her gaze steadily. I understand, and I will learn. I'm not afraid to work for it. As the evening fell, Ethan found her on the balcony, staring at the New York skyline, its lights twinkling like stars fallen to earth. You handled yourself today beautifully, he said softly, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. Lily leaned into him, feeling both comforted and emboldened. I still feel out of place. Everything is so overwhelming. Ethan smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. It's okay to feel that way. Remember, you're not alone. We'll face it together. Step by step, you'll find your place in this world, and soon, no one will question that you belong here. Lily gazed out at the city, the wind brushing against her face, and for the first time, she allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, she could rise to meet the challenges ahead. The morning air was crisp as Lily stepped onto the balcony, coffee in hand, but the peaceful moment was fleeting. Ethan's phone buzzed incessantly, and when he glanced at the screen, his expression darkened. They've published a new story, he said quietly. The tabloids didn't waste any time. It's all over social media. Billionaire CEO's son marries poor girl. Will she survive the high society? Lily's stomach sank. She had expected whispers, maybe judgment from the family, but not this tidal wave of scrutiny. Oh, I don't know what to say, she murmured, anxiety clawing at her chest. Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. You don't have to say anything. They don't know you. Let's show them who you really are, not who they think you should be. The headlines were brutal. Every tweet, every Instagram post, every blog article dissected her appearance, her past, even trivial details like the way she smiled or held herself. Some were dismissive, mocking her background. Others were curiously sympathetic, intrigued by her courage to enter this world unprepared. Victoria, observing from the staircase, arched an eyebrow. You see, Lily? This is the world you've stepped into. You will be tested, ridiculed, and judged daily. Do you even have the strength to handle it? Lily squared her shoulders, meeting her mother-in-law's gaze. I've faced worse in my life. I can handle this too. Richard, who had been silent till now, finally spoke, his tone measured but firm. Strength isn't enough. Intelligence, awareness, composure, all of that matters here. One wrong word, one misstep, and it will be used against you. Just then, Ethan suggested a small outing, trying to distract her and break the tension. They drove through Manhattan, passing bustling streets and towering skyscrapers. Lily tried to breathe, to take in the city's energy, but her mind kept drifting back to the comments, the headlines, the judgment waiting at every corner. Later that afternoon, an invitation arrived, an exclusive high society charity event. It was a crucial test. Lily's first public appearance as a Blackwood, in front of influential socialites, investors, and media cameras. The event would determine how she was perceived, and the stakes were impossibly high. Lily stared at her reflection in the mirror, adjusting the elegant gown Ethan had chosen for her. I can do this, she whispered to herself. I have to. Not just for Ethan, but for me too. Ethan appeared in the doorway, his expression a mixture of pride and concern. You'll be perfect, Lily. Remember, confidence isn't about being flawless. It's about owning who you are. You belong here, and tonight, everyone will see that too. As the night fell and the Blackwood limousine rolled up to the event, the city lights glittering like stars, Lily felt a mix of fear and determination. Cameras flashed the moment they stepped out, and reporters shouted questions, some friendly, some biting. She took a deep breath, lifted her chin, and answered with poise. It's an honor to be here. I'm grateful to be part of this family, and I look forward to learning and contributing wherever I can. A murmur ran through the crowd. Some were surprised by her composure, others intrigued by her authenticity. Even Victoria, observing from a distance, couldn't hide the faint trace of curiosity and grudging respect on her face. Richard, standing beside Victoria, gave Ethan a brief nod, a silent acknowledgement of the night's success. But the challenges were far from over. The world had begun to notice, and Lily knew this was just the beginning. Every step she took, every interaction, every smile would be analyzed, judged, and scrutinized. And as Ethan led her into the grand ballroom, Lily felt a flicker of courage ignite within her. She would not be broken, she would not shrink. She had survived hardships before, and she would face this new world with the same determination, proving not just to the Blackwoods, but to herself, that she truly belonged. The morning sunlight poured through the grand windows of the mansion, illuminating the sprawling halls that Lily had slowly begun to navigate with a growing sense of familiarity. Though the marble floor still gleamed intimidatingly under her feet, and the ornate furniture seemed designed to highlight every misstep, she felt a small spark of confidence stirring within her. She had survived the public scrutiny, the whispers, and the first formal event. Now it was time to prove herself within the family walls. Victoria watched from the kitchen doorway, her arms crossed, observing Lily as she practiced setting the dining table for the day's luncheon. Every placement of cutlery, every fold of the napkins, every subtle adjustment seemed to Lily like a test, but Victoria's critical gaze made it feel monumental. Not bad, Victoria finally said, her tone deceptively neutral. But you're missing the small details. The forks need to align perfectly with the plate edges. The glassware should catch the light evenly. And don't forget the napkin fold. It's crucial. And all the essential. Lily nodded, taking a deep breath. I'll fix it. Thank you for the guidance, Mrs. Blackwood. Victoria's lips pressed into a thin line, a faint smirk appearing as if she were impressed despite herself. Good. Pay attention, because the next time guests arrive, everything will be noticed. No room for mistakes. Ethan appeared behind Lily, watching her quietly for a moment before offering a reassuring smile. See? You're learning quickly. You've got this. Lily exhaled slowly, letting the reassurance sink in. It wasn't just about the rules, the etiquette, or the perfect presentation. It was about navigating a world that had previously seemed untouchable. And she was proving to herself, step by step, that she could handle it. Later that afternoon, the family received a visit from one of Richard's most important business associates, a stern man named Gregory Miles, who was known for his sharp eyes and unforgiving standards. As the introductions were made, Lily felt her heart quicken, but instead of panic, she forced herself to stand tall and project calm. "Lily," Gregory said, glancing at her curiously, "I've heard a lot about you. Joining the Blackwoods is no small task. How do you plan to manage the responsibilities that come with being part of this family?" Lily smiled, steady and composed. "Mr. Miles, I may not have grown up in this world, but I've learned resilience, adaptability, and patience. I intend to apply those qualities here, to support Ethan, the family, and the values you uphold. I'm committed to learning and contributing in every way I can." Gregory's eyes flicked between her and Ethan, and for the first time, Lily caught a glimmer of approval. "I see. Confidence and sincerity qualities this world needs more often than not. Very well." Richard, standing nearby, said nothing, but his stern expression softened just a fraction. Victoria, however, remained silent, her gaze fixed on Lily with an intensity that could pierce steel. That evening, as the mansion's lights glimmered across the city skyline, Lily and Ethan shared a quiet moment on the balcony. "You were incredible today," Ethan said, pulling her close. "Every time someone doubts you, every whisper or glance meant to intimidate you, stood tall. That's strength, Lily. Real strength." Lily rested her head on his shoulder, a small smile forming. "It's still hard. Sometimes I feel like I'm constantly being tested." Ethan kissed her forehead gently. "You are being tested. But that's how you'll prove yourself, not just to them, but to yourself. You're stronger than you think, and soon everyone will see it." Inside, Victoria watched them from a distance, her sharp eyes betraying a flicker of recognition. She remained guarded, but beneath her stern exterior, a reluctant respect for Lily was beginning to take root. The subtle challenges she had placed before Lily, etiquette, poise, social navigation, had revealed a remarkable resilience. And as night settled over the mansion, Lily felt a new sense of purpose. She wasn't just surviving the Blackwood world anymore, she was beginning to thrive, showing that courage, intelligence, and authenticity could carve a place even in the most imposing of empires. The city lights of New York glittered like 1,000 tiny stars as the Blackwood limousine pulled up to the entrance of the grand gala. It was the night of the prestigious charity event, an annual affair attended by influential socialites, investors, and media personalities from across the country. For Lily, it was more than just a party. It was a proving ground, a stage where every move, every smile, every word would be scrutinized by a world she had just stepped into. As they exited the car, camera flashes erupted, reporters shouting questions over the roar of city traffic. Ethan placed a protective hand on Lily's back, guiding her through the swarm with quiet confidence. She felt the weight of every gaze, every judgmental glance, but she held her head high. Victoria watched from the entrance of the ballroom, her expression carefully neutral, but her mind sharp as ever. She had orchestrated this evening to test Lily's poise under pressure to see if the woman her son had married could withstand the combined scrutiny of the media, the social elite, and herself. Inside the glittering hall, chandeliers cast a dazzling light on the polished marble floors and the elegantly dressed guests. Lily felt a moment of panic as she realized how visible she was, how exposed. But then she remembered Ethan's words. Confidence isn't about being flawless. It's about owning who you are. A group of socialites approached. Led by the ever-critical Claudia, "Miss Carter," she said, her tone polite but dripping with subtle judgment. "I must say, this is quite the unexpected match. How are you adjusting to this world?" Lily inhaled deeply, letting calmness wash over her. "It's a new world for me, certainly," she replied smoothly, her voice steady. but I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn and contribute. I hope to make a positive impact, not just for Ethan, but for the family and the causes this event supports. A murmur ran through the group. Some exchanged surprised glances, others nodded in approval. Even Victoria's eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger, but in careful assessment. As the evening progressed, the real challenge emerged. A series of spontaneous interactions with high-profile guests, journalists, and board members. Each question was a test, each glance a judgment. Lily handled them with grace, drawing from her own experiences of hardship and resilience, turning potential missteps into opportunities to impress. Ethan watched from a distance, pride swelling in his chest. He could see the subtle shift, the way the room responded to her authenticity, the respect creeping into even the most skeptical faces. But the true test came when Victoria herself approached, standing beside Lily with a slight tilt of her head. This family and this world doesn't forgive mistakes, she said quietly, just for Lily to hear. One wrong move, and all of this, she gestured to the ballroom, could crumble around you. Are you truly ready to handle that? Lily met her mother-in-law's gaze without flinching. I am, Mrs. Blackwood. I may not have been born into this world, but I've learned resilience, patience, and grace. I can handle this. Victoria studied her for a long moment, the tension between them palpable. Then, almost imperceptibly, she nodded, a silent acknowledgement of Lily's growth. The night ended with a standing ovation for the charity initiative, media coverage glowing, and whispers of admiration for Lily's poise and intelligence circulating among the elite. Even Claudia, the skeptical socialite, approached with a faint smile. You handled yourself beautifully tonight, Miss Carter. Richard, who had observed quietly from the edge of the ballroom, finally approached Ethan and Lily. She did well, he admitted, voice low, but carrying the weight of genuine recognition. Better than I expected. As they exited the gala, the cool night air brushing against Lily's face, she felt a mixture of relief and triumph. She had faced one of the highest stakes events of her life, survived the scrutiny, and gained a small but undeniable respect from the family and society. Ethan wrapped an arm around her, pulling her close. See? I told you they can't touch you when you stay true to yourself. Lily leaned into him, a smile of quiet confidence spreading across her face. She had survived the test, but deep down, she knew this was just the beginning. The Blackwood world was vast, influential, and relentless, and if she wanted to truly belong, she would have to continue proving herself every single day. The following morning, the mansion felt quieter than usual, as if the city outside had also sensed the subtle shift in the Blackwood household. Lily walked through the halls with a newfound ease, her steps lighter, her head held higher. The gala from the previous night had been a trial by fire, and she had emerged unscathed, even earning glances of admiration from those who had doubted her. Victoria watched from the kitchen doorway, arms crossed, studying Lily as she organized the morning's breakfast service for the household staff. Her critical eye softened slightly, though her demeanor remained poised and exacting. You've improved, she remarked, her voice neutral, but carrying a weight of acknowledgement. The way you handled the gala, it showed intelligence, composure, and the ability to read the room. Qualities I didn't expect to see so soon. Lily blinked in surprise, a small smile breaking through her usual composure. Thank you, Mrs. Blackwood. That means a lot coming from you. Victoria's lips pressed into a line, almost a smirk, before she added, don't let it go to your head. This family, this world, it's relentless. You've taken your first step, but many more tests lie ahead. I'll admit, though, you have the potential. Ethan entered the room, observing the subtle exchange, a proud smile on his face. See? Even the toughest critic is noticing your efforts. Later that day, Richard summoned Ethan and Lily to his private study. The room was imposing, lined with bookshelves and adorned with awards and portraits showcasing the Blackwood legacy. Richard stood behind his polished mahogany desk, a rare contemplative look on his face. Lily, he began, his voice measured, I watched the gala coverage, and listened to the feedback from some of my associates. You conducted yourself with dignity and intelligence. You've demonstrated the strength I hoped for in anyone joining this family. Lily's heart pounded in her chest. She had expected criticism, maybe a gentle warning, but this acknowledgement from the formidable CEO was more than she had hoped for. Thank you, Mr. Blackwood. I promise I'll continue to prove myself worthy of the Blackwood name and values. Richard's gaze softened slightly, a rare smile flickering on his face. I believe you will, Lily. You have the courage, and more importantly, the character. Ethan's choice was bold, but perhaps not misguided. Victoria appeared behind him, her expression still guarded but softer than ever. I won't deny it. My son chose wisely. Lily, you have shown resilience, intelligence, and heart. Traits that can't be taught or bought. I may be hard to impress, but you've begun to do just that. For the first time since stepping into the mansion, Lily felt a profound sense of acceptance, not just tolerated, but respected. The tension that had loomed over her like a storm for weeks began to ease, replaced with cautious optimism. Ethan reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. See? I told you they're starting to see what I always knew. Lily smiled, leaning against him slightly. It's not just about them seeing Ethan. I feel it too. Like I finally belong here, not because of wealth or status, but because of who I am and who we are together. Richard's stern tone returned, but it carried a hint of warmth this time. Remember, challenges will continue. This world doesn't forgive mistakes lightly, but if you stay true to yourself and support each other, you can navigate anything. Victoria gave a subtle nod, her eyes glinting with a mixture of approval and the faintest trace of pride. The once formidable barrier of skepticism and criticism that had surrounded Lily was slowly breaking, replaced with recognition, respect, and a fragile trust. As they left the study together, Lily felt a surge of determination. The Blackwood world was still vast, still daunting, but she had proven that courage, intelligence, and authenticity could carve a place even in the most imposing of empires. And somewhere deep within, she knew the climax of her journey, the full acceptance and harmony with her new family was approaching. The final tests were near, but Lily felt ready to meet them head on. The sun had set over New York, and the city's skyline glittered like a sea of stars. Tonight was the charity gala for which the Blackwoods had been preparing for weeks, but this time, it was more than just a high-profile event. It was the ultimate test for Lily. Every major media outlet, every influential socialite, and every investor who mattered would be present. For Lily, it was the moment where perception, judgment, and acceptance collided. As the limousine approached the grand entrance of the gala venue, photographers and journalists swarmed, their cameras flashing incessantly. "Miss Carter, how does it feel to be part of the Blackwood family?" shouted one reporter. Another chimed in, "Do you feel the pressure of high society yet?" Lily straightened her posture, her heart racing, but her face calm and composed. "I feel honored to be here," she replied, her voice steady and confident. "I'm grateful for the opportunity to contribute to this family and to the causes this event supports. Pressure or no pressure, I intend to do my best." Ethan's hand found hers, giving a reassuring squeeze. "Just be yourself," he whispered. "That's all anyone needs to see." Inside the ballroom, the chandeliers sparkled like constellations, and the room buzzed with conversations, laughter, and the soft clinking of glasses. Socialites whispered, observers watched, and media personnel jotted down every word and gesture. Every movement Lily made was scrutinized, every smile examined. Then came the pivotal moment. A group of prominent business leaders approached, led by Gregory Miles, who had previously tested her composure at the mansion. "Miss Carter," he said, "you've been in the spotlight before, but tonight is different. How do you plan to navigate this environment where influence and reputation are everything?" Lily's breath caught for a fraction of a second, but she held her gaze steady. "Mr. Miles, influence and reputation may define people on the surface, but integrity, compassion, and resilience define them in truth. I may not have been born into this world, but I carry values and experience that allow me to stand firmly and contribute meaningfully. Tonight, I hope to show that authenticity can coexist with tradition and prestige. A hush fell over the group. Even Claudia, the socialite who had been subtly critical from the start, nodded in admiration. Victoria watched silently from the corner. A faint, almost imperceptible smile forming a rare sign of approval. Richard's stern eyes softened as he studied her, acknowledging the poise, intelligence, and grace that Lily had exhibited under relentless scrutiny. As the evening progressed, Lily engaged confidently with guests, navigated conversations effortlessly, and charmed everyone with her warmth and authenticity. Reporters scribbled notes, socialites whispered in admiration, and by the time the media coverage went live, headlines shifted from skepticism to praise. Billionaire's new daughter-in-law surprises high society with grace and poise. Lily Carter, the woman who redefined expectations. Later, in a quiet corner of the ballroom, Victoria approached Lily, her expression softened but still dignified. "You have exceeded expectations," she said quietly. "Not just mine, but those of everyone here. I won't deny it, I was skeptical. But you've shown courage, intelligence, and strength. You belong, Lily." Richard joined them, placing a firm hand on Ethan's shoulder. "I'm proud of you both," he said. "You've navigated this world with grace, and in doing so, you've shown that love, character, and determination can overcome status and prejudice." Ethan looked at Lily, eyes shimmering with pride. "We did it," he whispered. Lily smiled, a sense of triumph and belonging flooding her heart. The journey had been fraught with doubt, judgment, and trials, but she had emerged stronger, respected, and fully accepted by the most formidable family in the country. As the gala continued around them, cameras capturing every radiant moment, Lily realized that she had not only earned the acceptance of the Blackwoods, but also the admiration of an entire world that had once doubted her. And in that moment, she knew with unwavering certainty she had truly found her place, and nothing could shake the bond she shared with Ethan or the family she now called her own. The night ended with applause, media praise, and an unmistakable sense of victory. Lily Carter, once a young woman from humble beginnings, had risen to claim her place among the elite not by wealth, but by strength, heart, and unwavering authenticity. The morning after the gala, the Blackwood mansion felt different, warmer, lighter, as if the weight of judgment and skepticism had finally lifted. Lily walked through the halls, the sunlight catching the subtle shimmer of her dress, her steps confident and unhesitant. She had proven herself not just to the family, but to the world outside, and most importantly, to herself. In the kitchen, Victoria prepared breakfast, but this time, her usual critical gaze was softened with a faint smile. "Good morning, Lily," she said, her tone lighter than ever. "You've done well. More than well, actually. The way you handled yourself yesterday, it shows strength, intelligence, and heart. Qualities that can't be taught, only proven." Lily returned the smile warmly. "Thank you, Mrs. Blackwood. Your guidance has helped me a lot. I'm grateful for your patience and support." Ethan entered, grinning as he wrapped an arm around her waist. "See? I told you they'd see what I've always known. You belong here." Lily leaned into him, feeling the love and protection in his embrace. "I do, don't I?" she whispered. Richard appeared, holding a cup of coffee, his expression calm but proud. "Lily," he began, his voice carrying the rare warmth reserved for few, "you've earned your place in this family. You've proven that character, courage, and authenticity matter more than status or wealth. Ethan's choice was wise, indeed." For the first time since arriving, Lily felt completely at ease in the Blackwood home. There was still a world of high expectations and societal pressures beyond the mansion walls, but she now possessed the confidence, resilience, and support to face it all. The day continued with laughter, family interactions, and quiet moments of reflection. Ethan and Lily spent time exploring the mansion together, talking about their plans, their dreams, and the future they wanted to build. The staff and friends of the household moved about with ease, subtly acknowledging the harmony and acceptance that now radiated through the family. Later, Victoria and Lily shared a moment in the garden, surrounded by blooming flowers and the soft hum of city life in the distance. "I underestimated you," Victoria admitted, a small smile tugging at her lips. "But I've seen your heart, your determination, and your intelligence. You've earned respect not because you married into this family, but because of who you are." Lily nodded, a sense of accomplishment washing over her. "Thank you. That means more than I can say." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow across the mansion, Ethan and Lily stood on the balcony, gazing out at the city they now called home. "We've faced so much together," Ethan said softly, "and we've come out stronger. This is just the beginning, Lily. But I know that whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Lily rested her head against his shoulder, feeling a profound sense of belonging and peace. "Yes, together," she whispered. "Nothing can shake us now." In that moment, surrounded by family, acceptance, and love, Lily Carter truly felt at home. The world had once doubted her, society had questioned her worth, and even the formidable Blackwoods had challenged her, but she had emerged victorious. Not by wealth, not by status, but by courage, heart, and unwavering authenticity. And as night fell over the Blackwood mansion, the city lights twinkling like a promise of endless possibilities, one thing was certain: Lily and Ethan's journey had only just begun. But together, they were unstoppable. The story of a billionaire CEO's son marrying a poor girl had begun as a shock to the world, but it ended as a testament to love, resilience, and the power of staying true to oneself.